If you recently lost your job in tech, I'm not going to comfort you. I'm going to offer you a different perspective. There is a real possibility that you are ahead of many people who are still employed, not because unemployment is pleasant, but because structural change rarely feels comfortable, and those forced to react early often adapt first. Let's unpack this carefully. Right now, the popular explanation is AI is replacing everyone. That's a lazy analysis. What's happening is more nuanced and more interesting. There are at least three forces converging. First, post-COVID overexpansion. Between 2020 and 2022, tech companies hired aggressively. Capital was cheap, demand was exploding. Digital adoption accelerated. Many companies scaled headcount for a future that assumed permanent hypergrowth. That future didn't arrive. Growth normalized, interest rate rose, investors demanded profitability. So part of what we've seen now is a correction. Not a revolution, correction. At the same time, AI dramatically increased output per knowledge worker, not eliminating 90% of jobs overnight, but compressing what one person can produce. One engineer with AI assistance can often deliver what previously required more time, more support, more coordination. Multiply that across thousands of employees, and the math changes. Even if AI isn't replacing you, it changes the headcount equation, and corporate math always wins. And here's another point. Many digital products are mature. Messaging works, payments work, cloud platforms work, e-commerce works. Yes, innovation continues, but we are no longer in the invent the internet phase. We are in the optimize margin phase. I personally work in e-commerce, and in spite of large roadmaps ahead, the majority of processes are well implemented and stable. We are not feature complete, but we do not need to rush as we are building the world from scratch. When products mature, growth slows. When growth slows, excess headcount becomes visible. Even without AI, compression was coming. AI just accelerates it. This isn't an AI apocalypse. It's a convergence of overexpansion, correction, product maturity, productivity acceleration. And when multiple forces point in the same direction, the result feels dramatic. For the last 15 years, the core corporate problem was hiring. Where do I get the best developers fast? We were optimizing recruitment funnels, developing evaluation criteria, calibrating interviews, outcome expectations, and so on. Now the problem is different. Who do we keep? Executives are not optimizing recruitment funnels. They are modeling survival scenarios. This is the anti-hiring era. And if you are sending CVs into this environment as if it's 2021, you may be playing yesterday's game. These days, the main task for HR is not how to make the company look attractive for potential candidates, but how to get rid of those who we should let go. It is a significant problem for the German business in particular, since their headcounts were mainly growing since 1949, and reversing this process requires a lot of effort, social, legal, organizational. Now let's talk specifically to engineers. If you are still employed inside a large organization, you are not just building, you are defending. You're defending legacy, architecture decisions, years of accumulated technical debt, backward compatibility constraints, fragile integration no one wants to touch, temporary patches from 2018 that became permanent. Technical debt isn't just messy code. It's organizational gravity. It defines what you can't change. It defines what you are afraid to refactor, and as products mature, stability becomes more valuable than reinvention, which means your job slowly shifts. Congratulations, you've been promoted from an engineer building new systems to a highly skilled maintainer of historical technical debt, from shipping greenfield architecture to carefully not breaking a 12-year-old monolith. Your primary KPI becomes don't destabilize production. That's not innovation, that's preservation. Now, compare that to someone who just got laid off. They are not responsible for a legacy database schema. They are not maintaining 5 generations of architectural compromise. They can't choose modern stacks. They can't integrate AI from day one. They can't build without backward compatibility chains. Painful? Yes. Constrained? No. And during structural shifts, fewer constraints can be an advantage. Inside the corporation, you are optimizing for stability. Outside of it, you can optimize for leverage. The next economic unit is not the 40-person development department or the middle management layer optimizing gyro velocity or the endlessly expanding org chart. It's one of 3 things. The AI native solo operator, the ultra-small, high-trust team of the modular coalition assembled for a specific problem. 3 highly leveraged engineers with AI can outperform much larger legacy teams, not because they are superhuman, but because they are unencumbered. Monoliths are fragmenting, organizations are externalizing capability. The question becomes, are you a department or are you a high-performance microservice? If you were laid off, the worst move is to desperately recreate the same role somewhere else. That's emotional regression. Instead, ask, what can I produce now that I couldn't produce 2 years ago? What bottlenecks still exist? What problems are expensive and painful? How can I operate as a plug-in rather than a headcount? You don't need to build a unicorn, you need to build leverage. And the leverage is output per hour, revenue per person, optionality per decision. Employment used to provide safety. In the compression phase, it often provides latency. Let's not romanticize this. Freedom is uncomfortable. Employment gave you structure, identity, a predictable roadmap, a Slack channel that made you feel included. Operating independently forces you to define your own metrics. That's harder. But discomfort is not the same as disadvantage. Sometimes it's an acceleration. If you were laid off, you are not lucky because job loss is pleasant. You might be lucky because you are early. You are not fighting to remain in the kept column of a spreadsheet. You are not defending a shrinking org structure. You are free to redesign yourself as a high-leverage economic unit. The industrial model of employment isn't disappearing, but it's compressing. You can defend your current position, or you can increase your optionality. Structural change does not wait for comfort. The only real risk is assuming this is temporary. So if you share this opinion, leave your comment. If you like the video, and see you next time.